Considering how much we use our smartphones these days, it makes sense that screen sizes have generally grown larger, but it leaves anyone looking for something a bit smaller than the norm without many options. For whatever reason, Sony has latched onto this niche and continues to make diminutive devices, the latest of which is the Xperia XZ2 Compact, designed to complement the larger flagship XZ2. Sony isn't asking you to compromise though, the Compact is just as good, if not better, in some respects. As you may have heard, this year Sony ditched its blocky omnibalance design language in favour of a curvier approach. It may seem a tad generic, but it works. Curves are comfortable, especially on a petite device you really wrap your hands around. It's not got the all-glass finish of the XZ2, in fact the Compact is entirely plastic, but it has a lovely translucence and colour that will make you forgive Sony for using a cheaper material. The Compact is so easy to use one-handed. That's sort of the point of something smaller of course, but form and function really work together here. I was skeptical when I initially heard the Compact featured a 5-inch screen. Were yesterday's phablets somehow becoming today's Compacts? But what Sony's done is use a display with an 18:9 aspect ratio, so it's taller and thinner than a normal 5-inch panel would be. What's more, the display crams the same Full HD Plus resolution of the XZ2 into a much smaller space, and because of that, it's very detailed. I find the HDR panel in the Compact actually better than the one in the XZ2, blacks are deeper and it kicks up less glare in bright sunlight. And that's the whole theme of the Compact. It's the same flagship XZ2 reordered into a smaller, squatter body. Naturally then, you get the same 19 megapixel motion eye camera, which takes great pictures with bags of detail and just the right colour saturation. It's pretty handy in low light too, and the whole experience is very user friendly thanks to Sony's superior auto mode, which handles all the settings for you, and the physical shutter key that makes you feel like you're taking a real photo. The Compact's camera has a few tricks up its sleeve. Like the XZ2, it has two unique features. It can shoot super slow-mo video at 1080p for one, but you only get 0.1 seconds of 960 FPS footage to work with. It's impossible to time correctly, so of little use unfortunately. The Compact is also capable of recording 4K HDR video, which is kind of pointless in and of itself unless you have a HDR TV to watch these clips back on. The bigger problem though is these clips just don't come out very well. They seem to be either heavily over or underexposed depending on whether your scene is sunny or overcast. They never look right. The front-facing camera on the Compact is also the same as the XZ2, which is to say it's a run-of-the-mill 5 megapixel sensor. A much more exciting number on the spec sheet, however, is 845 next to the word Snapdragon. Again, like the XZ2, the Compact boasts the best mobile chip around right now, and the thing runs like an absolute dream. All your games play smoothly with the graphics cranked up to the max, and the general user experience is quite simply fantastic. The Compact has a slightly smaller battery than the XZ2 for obvious reasons, but I actually feel like it lasts longer on a day-to-day basis. It seems to be that bit more efficient, consuming less charge per round of PUBG or photography session. And if your use is fairly frugal, you'll easily get a full day out of the battery. Now, if you're simply interested in grabbing the best Android phone there is at the moment, the Compact is definitely a contender. Compared with the bigger XZ2, all that's missing is wireless charging support and dynamic vibration, which is a gimmicky feature that turns audio into gamepad-like rumbles. The Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus are great options too, but if it's the small form factor that's a big draw for you, then there's not a lot of competition. There are several Android phones around the same size, but they are entry-level devices nowhere near in the same league. The iPhone SE hasn't been updated in 2 years, so that's one to avoid. So the only viable competition is the 5-inch Pixel 2 and the iPhone 8 with its 4.7-inch display, both of which are significantly bigger devices. And the Compact has another trump card, price. Sony hasn't nailed down US pricing and availability just yet, but in the UK the Compact launches April 6th for £549. It should retail in the US for around $650, I'd say. The XZ2 is £150 more expensive than its miniature sidekick, and every other phone I've mentioned bar the iPhone SE is pricier than the Compact. Put simply, it's very good value for money, especially because it's a 2018 flagship in its own right. There are no compromises here, which have made some previous Compacts feel like afterthoughts. You get everything that's good about the XZ2, and to be fair, everything that's bad, like poor quality stereo speakers. You actually get a better screen and one of the most powerful phones there is for a reasonable price. If you want a small, neat phone, this Bijou beast is absolutely the one to buy. And since nobody else really makes devices of this size anymore, you get the added bonus of knowing it won't be obsolete anytime soon.